Two things before I launch this missile at you. First, I invite us for the rest of this Mass to pray for all the people who will be coming to church tonight and tomorrow morning who don't usually come. Pray that the moment they walk in these doors, they experience the love of God. And that we, as the regulars, are patient and willing to give up our seat without a glare. How does that sound? Yeah? The second thing I just wanted to point out, Mary Frank is here. I know, I'm sorry. I had the joy, I didn't know she was going to be here. I had the joy of working with her for 10 years. Jesus help you, woman. At Lansing Catholic High School. And she raised a tremendous amount of money so that kids who had no shot at a Catholic education got one. And Mary's here with her husband, Dr. Terry, and thank you. It's a nice surprise. Yeah. Ready for the segue? When I was at Lansing Catholic, see how I did that? A group of my students went to a football camp and they ran into my old coach. And when they were talking to him, he said something that prompted a question the next time they saw me. Your coach said you were a blocking back. What is that? And I said, that's a fullback that can't catch. Right? I had one job, and it was to hit the line as hard as I could and try to make a mess. And if anybody had broke through, it was my job to try to hit them first so that a person who can actually run and catch the ball would be able to do that. And I think of that experience a lot lately. Like the last few years, this is when it really hit me. And stick with me, I hope this makes sense. The average play is about 7 seconds, right, if it goes well. And I can't tell you how many times within 2 seconds I had no idea what was happening, right? That I would hit or get hit, and then next thing I know there's a whistle, and the play's over, and I have to look up to see what happened. And there were times where on the ground I'd stand up and we scored. Right? And there were times where I'd stand up and the runner was behind me. But it really wasn't my job to know. It was my job to do my job. And I didn't always understand why I had to be where I had to be. But truly, one of those great moments, and it happened, fairly often, the guy who scored had come up and hugged me or hugged someone else because somehow we made it possible. I couldn't see the results till afterward. I just did what I was supposed to do, and it worked. And I think when we read today's gospel, it's kind of easy to forget something. I don't know if Mary had plans for her life. I don't know if Joseph had plans for his life. I'm fairly to partly cloudy sure the plans they may have had looked nothing like what God wanted. But when the angel came to her and said, we're going to change everything. Whatever plans you had, we need you to put them aside. And she answered, yes. And we get Jesus. And for you and me, I ask us to remember that all the time. We might not know until heaven why God says, do this, or be over here. Or why we have to take awful hits sometimes. We might not know why sometimes we have to be the hitter, tell someone to change their life, or be with someone and something ugly. We might not know why Coach is telling us what he's telling us, but like Mary and like Joseph, we gotta say yes. And not just yes to God, but what she said. And I'm going to teach you a Hebrew word. Are you ready for this? I don't know. I'm looking at you. Okay. All right. Hineni. Hineni. One more time. Hineni. That's what she said. We got it pictured right there. She said hineni. And it's such a complicated word to translate that we take a whole sentence to do it. Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word. there's so much in that word. And like a lot of Hebrew words, it takes a paragraph to define. But what it literally translates as is, look at me. Look at me. And that's our answer to God every day. That when we see trouble in the world, trouble in our families, trouble in our church, trouble in our workplace, when we see that, our tendency is to complain and to describe the water to people who are drowning. And it does no good at all. What we're supposed to be doing is saying, look at me, God. Use me. Whatever way you want, whatever my plans are, I put them aside because your plan is better. That's the blessing and the challenge we're offered today. And I invite us to embrace it with our whole heart. Look at her. And ask our mother for the grace to say, look at me, I'm here. Whatever you need, whatever my plans, send me. This is the answer to the prayers of the world. Not more opinions, we got tons of those. Not more anger, we are overdosed on anger. And not more fear, we're addicted to it. Just more people who will say, look at me, God. I'm here. I say yes to you. Amen.